You guys have probably heard me talk different times about how I want to promote my music on this podcast. Well, I've been doing a lot of work in the studio lately, actually, and I'm going to play for you right now a song that I covered. That's right, me. I did it. It's an old bluegrass song called Don't That Road Look Rough and Rocky, and I'm going to play it for you right now. Oh, and by the way, I rocked it up a little bit. This is not a bluegrass recording. So, my deepest apologies to all of my bluegrass buddies.
Darling, I have come to tell you, though it almost breaks my heart, but before the morning, darling, we'll be many miles apart. Don't this road look rough and rocky? Don't that sea look wide and deep? Don't my baby look the sweetest when she's in my arms asleep? Can't you hear the night birds crying far across the deep blue sea? While of others you are thinking, won't you sometimes think of me? Don't this road look rough and rocky? Don't that sea look wide and deep? Don't my baby look the sweetest when she's in my arms asleep? One more kiss before I leave you. One more kiss before we part. You have caused me lots of trouble, and darling, you have broke my heart. Don't this road look rough and rocky? Don't that sea look wide and deep? Don't my baby look the sweetest when she's in my arms asleep? Don't this road look rough and rocky? Don't that sea look wide and deep? Don't my baby look the sweetest when she's in my arms asleep?
3, 2, 1.
Get ready, set, go.
Why can't Pam drink?
Pam can't drink? I didn't. I shouldn't have said that. I don't know why I did. She can do whatever she wants. Though she shouldn't. She shouldn't because she's an alcoholic. Pam is an alcoholic. That's not true. No. What we wanted, the real reason is that the that Pam's pregnant.
Okay.
That sounds like something my dad would say.
Yes, it does.
Trying to gather everything all back in again.
Is this thing on?
It's on and working.
Excuse me.
Can you get enough volume?
I think I do.
I think so too.
I think I got plenty of volume. People might wonder why we went with that opening.
Yes.
A lot of people know. Our Facebook friends know. Family knows.
Now it's time to let all the outside Facebook world know.
Ready for the podcast community to know, huh?
Podcast family.
All right, what do you got to tell them?
Well, do you want to say?
No,
it
you go
is
ahead.
your present.
You're a little more, I would say you're more qualified, a little more knowledgeable on the subject.
So, as of October 28th, which was your birthday.
Yes, it was. All day long.
Yep. About 1:15, I think it was, in the morning, I took a pregnancy test and it's positive. So
Positive as heck, wasn't it?
it's positive as heck. It was so positive in like 2 minutes, the line was showing up. So we got baby Sparks on the way.
And I was,
Half awake,
I was awakened. How do you say that? Awakened?
rudely awakened.
Rudely awakened from a very, very sound sleep
You were sleeping so good.
at 5:30 in the morning.
With your alarm just blaring in the next room. It
Yeah, I
was
do have
going off so bad.
I do have an issue with that. Alarms do not
Wake you
wake
up.
me up. No, they don't.
Yeah. So there will be a video coming out.
You did
I'm sure.
video this, didn't you?
Yep. From the moment that I came into the studio and made the little announcement, that I was going to wake up Phil and tell him happy birthday and that I was pregnant. And then I set it up. And then the dogs were prancing around everywhere because they were so tickled. And so some of the video is probably going to be ruined, but some of it's going to be good. So we'll
Our
get that
dogs
out
are
there.
not well behaved when it comes to staying still.
They are ADHD running around like chickens with their head cut
Yes,
off,
yes, they are.
but they're sweet. So
So you got, you have a parasite inside of you.
I
is what
do.
you're saying.
I have a little something right now. It looks like a dragon or a little lizard.
Yeah, you showed me a picture of it.
6 weeks.
it's
It has a
actually-
tail. It actually has a tail.
It's actually not very endearing, the picture.
It looks so
I
weird.
don't know if that was supposed to be a,
Oh, look, there's your baby. Wait, what's
yeah.
that?
What
What's
is
that?
this? I don't like what I'm seeing.
Yeah, it's a weird.
Does it change or will it look like that?
It's a tadpole with a tail.
Well, I could say too, the guys at work have felt it their duty, those that are dads, to give me the warnings.
Oh no! What are they telling you?
Adam told me, he said, Phil, whatever you do, stay north of the sheet. I said, Phil, don't you dare look.
Yeah, because things are not the same after you push out a 8-pound baby.
Yeah, pretty much his words to me were, you will see things that will get burnt into your memory that you don't need burnt there.
Okay, so what about? Because didn't he say something about cutting the cord? He's like, no, I don't want to cut the cord.
Yeah.
I pay the doctor to do that.
Well, he also told me, he said, Phil, you're going to think that this is, or you may think that this will be a miraculous, otherworldly experience, where you kind of hear angels singing and all that. He said, it is nowhere near that. He said, it's more of a barnyard experience than it is anything.
What?
He said it is very...
Wait. He actually said barnyard?
Barnyard, yes. Yes, he said envision
I'm
more.
perplexed.
Yes. Yeah, he's like, this is a very gruesome thing you're about to see. He said, this is nothing miraculous. It is.
Okay,
Freaking Adam.
first of all, have you ever seen an animal have a baby?
I think
Or
I
a
caught
calf or whatever, a goat or whatever?
No, I've seen a video when I was in middle school or something like that.
Oh, man.
no.
Was that in 4-H, whenever we were in 4-H or something?
No, this was just some middle schoolers that found a
Wow.
video of a giraffe giving birth, and they all thought it was great. And I was not one of the ones that thought it was great.
One thing you do not have to worry about is I will not be eating the sac or the placenta after I have the baby.
Well, that's good to know. I mean,
I know there are some people that like that practice. I
always
kind of have to draw the line there.
I will always think of Creed Bratton when he said it's like the tide at Omaha Beach. Like the tide at Omaha Beach.
Oh, that's great. Why
yeah,
do we have so many Office references?
Oh, it is my life.
Oh my goodness, it sure is. Doesn't your boss like The Office too?
He does.
Oh man, it's so good. I wonder what his wife thinks about it.
I think she's a fan as well.
Is she?
Several people in my office that I work are fans of The Office.
Yes.
And whenever you work in an office, you realize, yeah, we're actually just in an episode of
You're in an episode
the TV
of
show. Yeah.
The Office.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. What kind of yogurt does Pam like?
Mixed berry. I hate the way you said that.
And then after she's like, he said that. Oh, he's on to me. I'm like, what in the world? You guys work together. Of course you're going to notice that.
There are so many times that Jim annoys the crap out of me. The way he says words, stuff and things. Jim is not one of my favorite characters.
Favorite couple in the entire show.
Dwight and Angela.
Yeah, me too. I think so too. They're so opposites that they're good together. And then you have like the typical, they really want you to like Jim and Pam, to be fair.
Yeah, they tried.
They really try hard. But there's something about like, you don't see not Angela. You don't see Pam over there like sobbing her eyes out whenever Jim is moving on and being with another girl. She's over there just kind of like.
No, she did, remember? Because Dwight.
That's true. But
Dwight
it was.
her.
So you're PMSing pretty bad.
Yeah, that's what he said.
You're right. Okay, she does cry.
Yeah.
No, but I was thinking of like, remember when Dwight is holding the angel and he's going.
Yes, I do.
And they're like, oh, Mose has terrible nightmares.
Ever since the storm.
Oh, man.
Well, people don't tune in to hear us quote lines from The Office, I guess.
And this is just us now. When was the last time we did it? Just you and me episode?
Oh, man. You mean one that actually made it to air? It was soon after we started.
It had to have been like the missionary one.
Yep. We were talking about you growing up as a missionary.
Yeah. That's interesting. We usually have like some other people or someone to yak our ears off to.
Yeah. Well, I figured, we've had guests for the past while.
Yeah.
We've got into some deep topics, and I figured I don't like to stay deep for very long. I think it's time to, ease up a little bit and not get as heavy. But then again, we just kind of go wherever the conversation takes us.
Yeah.
So it might get deep before it's over with. Who knows? Speaking of deep topics, our last one was pretty in depth.
Nice segue. Yep. Mm-hmm.
It was a good segue. Wasn't it? We deconstructed some things, yes, we did that, but we responded to a pastor in Indiana that preached a sermon that we strongly disagreed with.
Right. So I had
which has become, not to cut you off, but it's become a pretty popular episode since we put that out. So
it's been interesting that what we've said and or had people say to us. There's all kinds of things that have kind of happened after that episode.
Mm-hmm.
But let me just say, 4 days ago, I posted something because that episode had came out, and this is what I said, and I'll just read really quickly. I said, definitely some clarification needed done and some issues addressed. We thought a while about this before we did it, and no disrespect was meant at all. It is just time for someone to speak up for those who are hurt by the Christian holiness movement or conservative holiness movement, because if they won't listen and try to save these falling into hell, by God's grace, we will. The church is so much more than just the conservative holiness movement. And then I brought up the Bible verse, John 10:16. It says, I have other sheep that are not of this sheep pen. I must also bring them along. They too will listen to my voice, and there shall be one flock and one shepherd.
Yes. You do realize, though, in that post, you did not link to the podcast episode. And some people were wondering what it was about.
That's okay. It's all right. And then like later on, I made different topics. There were 4 different points I wanted to make. I said this episode is to raise awareness that when you are in a place of power, your words are 1,000 times more hurtful than you may realize. The damage done by the conservative holiness movement is real, as our podcast has shown repeatedly. Refusing to apologize for what you have said or done ever is wrong, because we are not perfect people and are bound to mess up. Statements like this worry me, especially when you say you won't apologize for anything you have said. It begins to feel like Saul persecuting the young Christian church. He is doing it in the name and for the glory of God. God, please open our eyes. So I had about 7 people that were like either agreeing or had questions, and had some statements too. And there were some really good, like just not by not linking the podcast with it, it brought up personal issues that other people have had, which, you know, I think this again, it just proved 13 comments that this is something that hurt people. People have been hurt by it.
Surely have.
So I had a lady message me Thursday. It's been a few days ago. And she said, let me find it here. This girl, and I'm going to have her be anonymous but she did message me. She said, I just want to start by saying I absolutely never direct message people, especially people I don't really know. But I couldn't not say anything. Could not say something. Okay. I saw your post about your podcast about the conservative holiness movement, and it caught my attention. So I went and listened, and I was so impressed. As someone who was raised in the holiness movement, I feel like you were saying the things I have felt for years. It felt like finally someone was speaking out and coming to the defense of all of us who are no longer in the holiness movement, but who love God with all our hearts. I loved that you were true to Scripture and still firm that what they believe is not scriptural. It has taken years to reconstruct my faith out of the holiness movement. It was so hard to separate my faith from my upbringing. Anyways, I guess I just want to say thanks for being bold to say things that you did. I was encouraged that my family aren't the only ones. Have a good day.
That's very nice. Very kind.
That was like, and again, this just proves that, you know, when we talk about these things, we are reaching out to people. There are people that are watching.
Oh, yeah.
And they're either
indeed.
going and gossiping to others, or they're feeling it in their heart. So you're either one of the two. You're either going and telling everybody about it, which is fine.
Yeah,
which
absolutely.
is fine.
That's
I was going to say, like, you go ahead, talk whatever you want. But, you know, and then you have the other people who are actually hurting and messaging us.
I want more people to hear that. I believe strongly in those episodes that we've done. I believe strongly about, you know, the way I've presented myself. And
absolutely.
And there's times I feel like I haven't presented myself very well. So that's why on the last episode, I clarified some things. But anyways, that was very nice. It was very kind of her to write that in.
Very nice. And I've never met this woman, but she knows a couple of the things that, you know, we've been through. She married outside of the holiness church too. I
had one of my buddies that's a loyal listener. He's been a listener from day one. And me and him were talking on the phone about that episode, and he had finished up, and he said, Phil, you guys keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
He said, and I'll keep listening.
Yeah.
He seemed to really like it. You know, we talked about that episode for a long time. Yeah. And, of course, he was riled up by some of the things that the pastor had said too. But.
You know, and that's another thing too. I had another friend, she was like, I did not realize just how bad it was until you played the clips of this pastor saying these things. And she kind of was like, I did not realize just how screwed up this was. And she said whenever you played that, it just put into evidence everything that you just said, like in your post. She said, you just proved yourself. She said, if anything, you are backing up everything you have said.
Well, that's why I wanted to play clips of him, because we thought about not even doing that.
Yeah.
Because it would be obvious then to the people that know him and to him himself, if he listens, it'd be obvious who we're talking about.
Yeah.
But I kept coming back to, well, what's the best way that we can represent what he said? Mm-hmm. It's hard to kick against an audio recording of yourself, you know, and to say that I wasn't fairly represented. I mean, we played long sections.
You sure did.
Of his sermon too.
And you listened to the sermon like several times,
listened
3
multiple
times, I think you said.
At least 3. Yeah.
I mean, and I didn't realize some of the things that he had said, and I'm not trying to bring up this whole topic again, but I didn't realize all the things that he had said until like I actually listened to it like thoroughly with you. I was like, wow, I completely missed that.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad it went over like it did. And
Yeah, me too.
I'm not here to pick a fight. So
No, I'm not either. Because in fact, like, I don't even like want to be throwing stones. And if this person were to message and say, hey, I didn't mean for it to be that way, that's fine. That is well and good. That's, if anything, that's all we want. We don't mean it for it to be like in a way that, he was, I don't know.
And I'll say again,
I don't know what I'm trying to say.
if he wants to clarify,
yes,
or if he wants to come on, or if he wants to have a conversation with us, 100%, I'll do it. And if he thinks that if he wants to clarify something that was in the sermon, I will put out the clarification for him. Mm-hmm. I'll bend over backwards to make sure that he is represented correctly.
Right.
And if he wants to walk back anything he said, or if he wants to double down, or just whatever.
Yeah.
He reaches out and he wants something said to the listeners, we'll put it out there.
If he wants to continue to say he refuses to apologize for anything he says, that's all well and good. You have the freedom to do that.
Anyways, I feel like my voice sounds weak this evening. Does it sound weaker to you?
No, it sounds fine.
We've been doing some studio work lately.
Yes.
And we did a little bit of singing tonight.
I've been singing a lot today. I was in the Goodwill. I was in the Goodwill of Fairmont. And this little girl, she's the sweetest little thing. But she looked right up at me, and then she went running the other way, and she came back. She looked at me again. She was like, are you singing? And it was Lady Antebellum singing the song, What If I Never Get Over You? And I was really enjoying that song. And it's one of the prettiest songs like that have been on radio lately. And she said, are you singing? And I said, yep, I am. She's like, oh. And she went running away. And then later on, she was like, my name's Elizabeth. And her mom was like, no, it is not. It is Arabelle.
Your name is not Elizabeth.
I was like, oh, okay. Well, that's nice to meet you. I didn't know what else to say. But yeah, we've been singing a lot today.
You brought that song to me. What If I Never Get Over You? And we're actually working on a cover of that in the studio.
Yeah.
Pretty much
I'm
as
excited.
we speak. Yeah.
I'm excited about that.
You
were working on that 5 minutes before we started doing the podcast.
Well, I stopped, we ate, and we jumped on the podcast. Yeah.
That might be why you're short of breath, because your stomach's so full.
That's not like me, though. That's not like me to overeat.
Oh, gracious.
I tell you what.
What?
I've been doing a lot of recording lately. And what you probably will have heard in the beginning of this episode, I will edit in the latest song that I've just...
oh, good.
Don't that road look rough and rocky? Or I think that's the actual tune.
Don't my baby
title.
look the sweetest?
No, that's not the name of the song.
I know, but I don't know.
Yeah, well, it's that one. I mean, it's an old bluegrass song.
It should be When She's in My Arms Asleep or something like that.
Should be.
Yeah, because that's the main point of it.
Yeah, that's like the hook. So, yeah, I've been doing a lot of that. And one of the main reasons I started this podcast was to promote music and stuff. So,
yes.
I've been in the studio a lot lately. So, more than likely, you'll be hearing a lot more music on the podcast.
Yes.
We'll throw one in here or there somewhere.
And if you would like to have your song played too, I'm sure we'll make room for that as well.
Yeah.
Because we did that with Christian Evans. They were talking about their music. So if you want your music, if you want to send us a clip or something, we'll play music for you just a little bit or whatever.
Can I tell you something else I would like to try to do?
What's that?
One of the guys at work he brought me a song to try to cover.
Ooh.
And so I think that would be good exercise for me.
Yes.
It's just, if somebody gives me a song, it might not be a song I like, but try to cover this. It makes the gears have to work in the old brain. You know what I mean? So if you got a song you want us to try to cover, send it in. Let me see what I can do with it.
Yeah.
I'll screw it up royally for you.
You'll never want to hear this song again.
You'll never like that song again.
Yeah, that's what you were telling me. You're like, that Lady Antebellum song. You're like, you're probably not going to like the song again. And I was like,
well, I've already gotten...
I really do like this song.
Yes, I like the song too. But I've already gotten frustrated while working on it, which is strike one. That happens quite often.
Oh, yeah. You were throwing the computer across the room.
No, I didn't. I wasn't like Ted Nugent tonight. We was watching.
Oh, what was up with that?
We were watching Ted Nugent do a live video. and his dogs knocked off his computer.
He said what? Sadie and Coco. I think they said them.
Sadie, Coco, and Happy. These 3 dogs.
Oh my goodness.
So they knocked
Happy.
him, Happy.
Oh gracious.
They knocked his laptop down on the floor.
I thought he would got knocked over
Oh,
and
it was an
hurt
awful
or
commotion.
like a heart attack or something. I was like, his wife Shemaine's gonna come running in there. And I'd be like,
He's dead live on Facebook.
And he's live on Facebook dead. Oh man.
Ted has a new album coming out, from what I understand. I'm looking forward to that.
Ooh.
Uncle Ted is still good. He's still good. He's 74, maybe, and he's still good as ever. His guitar
He's
playing.
looking rough though, man.
Oh yeah,
He's looking rough.
yeah.
But
his,
for what? 74 you said?
70 something. How old is Ted?
For some reason I think he's older. Like 77 maybe, 76.
Ted Nugent is 72.
What?
Yes.
Oh, see?
Born the same year as Pap, 1948.
Oh,
However, Pap did not care for music like Ted Nugent.
no.
I can remember recording stuff or playing around with music, and Pap was dead set against anything that sounded like rock. He's like, Brother Phil, that's what he used to call me all the time. Brother Phil, that's the devil's music. You know, you don't want that rock and roll.
Pap thought Just to See You Smile by Tim McGraw was too beaty.
Did he really?
Yes. I remember we were talking about it. He's like, yeah, that's a beat though.
He didn't care for that, huh?
Okay. All I wanted him to hear was the beginning part.
Yeah.
That had the
The
steel.
steel guitar.
Yeah.
Pap was, if it didn't sound like Buck Owens, Pap wasn't a big fan. For being as good of a musician as Pap was, and he was really good, he did not like much music. He didn't like much at all. I mean,
Like John and Mary.
Oh man.
Are we going to talk
for
about that?
Yes. So
They were what?
I don't even know if you can find these people
I don't
online.
know
It was a
either.
Mennonite brother and
Yep.
sister.
Yep.
And one of the guys that I was hanging drywall with at the time, Brian Hoke, he had this CD of John and Mary. That was the name they went by. And they sung, they must not have been really strict Mennonites because they believed, they were all right with doing some country songs and stuff like
Right.
that. And they weren't terrible, but they weren't good. They weren't great, let me put it that way. And I remember,
They weren't good.
no, they weren't at all. Not in my opinion.
You're like, no, they weren't great. I'm like, no, they weren't good either.
So I remember Brian loaned me a CD of them because I figured Pap would like it. And that was one of the biggest mistakes in my life, was to bring that CD home, because that's all Pap
That's
listened
all
to
Pap wanted.
for like a year or more. And I couldn't stand it. I just couldn't stand it. It was, they did covers, and they were okay. When I say they're good, they were decent. All right.
Yeah.
They weren't like they were horrendous, but it just wasn't. It's like, no, I can't do this.
No.
No.
It was
Which
too
is
much.
exactly what most people say when I put out a song.
They're like, please just shut it off.
Please just turn it off now.
You're only making it worse.
I'm getting diarrhea. So this one was short and sweet.
Yeah.
Just me and you. Whole
Yep.
crew wasn't here. I'm actually behind. We're recording. This one's late. Getting recorded and
Yeah.
edited.
We've had a lot going on though too.
We have.
We've been busy.
We have. Well, you won't be here tomorrow, right? You'll be working.
I'm working the next 6 nights.
But tomorrow we'll be recording with Kane and Mariah and probably John, and we'll get back in the swing of things here, hopefully.
Yeah.
I want to say too, I'm really glad the podcast is growing. 'Cause
Yes.
It is growing.
It sure is. Yeah.
Really-
I just want to say thank you to all our listeners.
Mhm.
That we have so far. Thank you. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, I can't say thank you enough to people that listen
Yeah.
and turn other people onto it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We have a lot of fun,
We sure do.
and it makes it more fun when you know people's listening.
Yes.
That's all I got. I like
Sounds
it.
good. We'll see you next time, guys.
See you next time.
Peace.
Thank you for listening to the Hillbilly Broadcast. We hope you like what you heard. If you didn't, and you really want to make us mad, go to wherever you listen to the podcast and give us a 5-star rating. It will drive me insane with anger. If you did like the show and you want to support it, go to anchor.fm/Phil Sparks, where you can become a monthly supporter if you so desire. While you're there, you can also send us a voice message and we'll play it on the show. Or if you don't want us to, we won't play it on the show. That's your call. Also, if you want to send us feedback, you can reach us by email at hillbillybroadcast@aol.com. That's right, we're so cool, we still use an AOL address. You can also find the Hillbilly Broadcast on Facebook and connect with us there. And I am on Twitter at Phil Sparks Show. Once again, thank you for listening. We love you. The good Lord loves you. And we'll see you next time.